The Ford Ranger is a ute on the rise, having overtaken some popular models to become the second biggest seller in its segment in 2014. While it's still outsold by the popular Toyota HiLux, the Ranger has almost 40 different variants that buyers can choose from, including the range-topping Wildtrak that we have here. This version is aimed at buyers who will use the tray occasionally rather than use it on a day-to-day basis, and it's got a sporty bent with some unique styling that sets it apart from the rest of the Ranger lineup. It's priced from $59,930 plus on-road costs, which makes it one of the most expensive utes on the market. The Wildtrak is easy to distinguish thanks to its 18-inch wheels, side steps and unique grille. The tray sees the addition of a sports bar, steel rear bumper and roller lid. Here in the cabin there are some nice touches, including a leather steering wheel, leather gear knob, electric front seats and front seat heating. The materials used inside the cabin fulfill the sporty promise with nice textures and finishes. On top of that, there's excellent storage as well. The Wildtrak is the only Ranger model that gets a reverse view camera as standard, which displays through the auto-dimming rear view mirror. It also gets front and rear parking sensors. The infotainment system is controlled through these chunky buttons with a small blue screen sitting atop the dash. The navigation and all major controls do take a little bit of learning, but the updated version of the Ranger, due here late in 2015, promises to bring with it an easy-to-use touchscreen media system. Still, Bluetooth phone and audio streaming is standard, and Ranger models come with auxiliary and USB inputs as well. Rear seat space is one of the Ranger's strong suits, with enough room back here for 3 adults. There's excellent headroom, excellent knee room, but there are no rear air vents. However, you do get a 12-volt outlet. At the business end, the Ranger is one of the best in its class, though it doesn't have quite as copious a tray as the Volkswagen Amarok. In the cargo box, there are useful items such as a 12-volt outlet, and let's be honest, this roller top does eat into space a little bit. Also, there is quite a lack of tie-down points in the Wildtrak, though if you buy a more work-focused version, you definitely get better access to tying things in. Its brake towing capacity is class-leading at 3.5 tonnes, and the payload of the Ranger is 1,000 kilos. Under the bonnet of our Ranger is a 3.2 litre 5-cylinder turbo diesel engine producing 147 kilowatts of power and 470 newton meters of torque, well and truly enough to keep things moving when you've got a load on board. And when you don't have a load on board, let me tell you, this thing has plenty of wallop. Shifting through the gears is a 6-speed automatic, which generally offers smooth and clever shifts, although we have noticed that when the car's cold, they can be a little bit abrupt. Dual cab utes are designed to haul a heap of stuff, and when we tested it with a tray full of timber, it felt utterly unfazed. And having driven one with a ton of concrete in the back, I can tell you that the Ranger never feels like it's running short of grunt. Without a load on board, the Wildtrak's ride can be a little bit jittery. Part of that comes down to the fact that it rides on 18-inch wheels, which do tend to transmit a few more bumps into the cabin. Over big bumps though, it's fairly well composed. Ranger 4x4 models get a proper 4-wheel drive system with low range, and the Wildtrak also gets a rear locking diff, which makes rough tracks look and feel like child's play. The Ford Ranger deserves all the success it has seen in Australia over the past few years. Sure, it's not outselling the Toyota HiLux, well, not yet, but it is a more rounded and more passenger-friendly offering than its rival.